Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new series of Strategic Command World War II World at War. We're going to be doing a single player Let's Play series, I suppose. So if we select it, we see a bunch of options for different campaigns. Some of these are a lot shorter. They have different days per turn. We're probably just going to be doing the 1939 one, which is the standard campaign. The days per turn are around 14. There's different victory conditions for both sides. The Axis need basically their major capitals of Berlin, Rome, Tokyo, and then they need a bunch of other major cities. So they need London, Manchester from the UK, Moscow, Stalingrad from the Russians, Cairo in Egypt, Seoul in Korea, Chongqing in China, Delhi in India, Manila in the Philippines, and Canberra in Australia. What they don't need is any real American cities, other than I guess Manila starts as American. And then the Allies need their basic classic victory conditions. That's what we're going to be worried about most because we're actually going to be playing as the Allies. So we're going to need Berlin, Rome, Paris, London, which London we should hope to hold if we're winning. Same with Washington, D.C., and then Moscow, Tokyo, Seoul, Chongqing, and Delhi. So we're going to go ahead and click Play Campaign to start. Like I said, we're probably going to be doing the Allies because there's a lot of gameplay out there on YouTube that's focused on Axis gameplay, and for good reason. I guess you could sort of change the course of history, whatever. But Allies are interesting because you can try and beat the time periods. You basically have like, oh, can we delay the fall of France? Could we finish the war quicker? Can we do certain things different? All this stuff we're going to keep standard at intermediate. No bonuses, just basically standard game. These are going to be the options. The one thing I think that's on by default for a lot of players will be 3D units. I think this is recommended for some reason. Same with the naval counters. Don't know why. The NATO counter styles are much clearer, much easier to see, especially for ships and things. It's unless you're a ship expert, it's going to be hard to tell what a lot of these ships are. These are very quick. Hard to get used to at first, but they're not too bad. No need to go into the advanced settings, but this is what I'm currently using. Not going to use soft build limits. I think it gets a little easy if you use these based on experience, but this is what we're using. So if we start it, it'll start on the Axis turn eventually. Starts in 1939 here. Oh, invasion of Poland. Skip through that by accident. So it'll show the German turn and the Japanese. They kind of go back and forth for some reason, the AI. Since the Axis go first, we have to watch them do their stuff first. And it tells us in the bottom corner here what they're actually doing. Slowly chugging along. They're going to be initiating an invasion of Poland. This game is basically a simplified version of something like Gary Grigsby's, but it lets us cover the whole world, and it's, you know, a little simpler and quicker to get through. You can actually get through a campaign without wasting hundreds of hours. It's a bit more forgiving. I don't actually know how big each hex is represented in this game. If I had to guess, I couldn't even guess, to be honest. I genuinely have no idea. The important thing to start, though, that we're focusing on here is we're looking at these Germans are pushing into Poland and take that fort, which is not good. But we want to basically be defending Warsaw, probably behind these rivers as much as we can, just to delay. I mean, eventually they will capture it. But we probably want to delay that capture just a little bit. Give time for the French to basically maybe build up some defenses. Yeah, so Polish morale suffers from battlefield losses. That's expected. New Zealand, South Africa. UK, France, calculating supply, and then it's going to give us our turn. Okay, so lost a bunch of stuff in China, lost a bunch of stuff in Poland, and then these guys declare war. Not Canada, though? Is that on purpose? I'm not sure. Well, might have to take a look at the politics tab after, but to start, you basically get these prompts that show up, and it tells you these certain things. So, European war is a threat to peace. Basically, there's these zones here that show up, and the Americans can't leave these zones before the war starts. That's what this is saying. We just follow these recommendations. So here we get a prompt as well, another decision for the British. It's about sending the British Expeditionary Force to France. It's probably something we want to do, because if we don't, French national morale drops by 1,000 points, and the US moves away from the Allies, so we probably want to deploy them. Worst case is we just... sorry for that. We're going to probably just accept this, because if we don't, the French will basically fall quicker, and we can always just pull out these British troops, sort of like a Dunkirk evasion, or probably a little bit of a safer one, but we will deploy the BF to France. Basically, this is a Russian prompt. Oh, we can even click View Map. But it's basically just saying, would you like to order the Red Army to basically invade these parts of Poland? And the answer is yes, because why not? Gain more land that the Russians have to, or that the Germans have to get through when they invade. And honestly, we could probably hold them back. So we'll do that. Okay. So here's the state of the world. The main things that we're going to focus on right at the start are basically the Polish defending against the Germans, and then formulating a Chinese defense plan. The Chinese defense plan will likely be pulling back to key rivers and mountains and just holding. Basically, your job as China is just hold the Japanese, force the Japanese to spend production MPPs in an attack, and then you can basically just hold them and let the Americans slowly build up, let the Americans threaten, capture some of these islands, to slowly drop these NM, which is National Manpower Objectives. So you slowly, as the Americans will be capturing these national manpower objectives to lower the Japanese morale and let China basically push. And yeah, it's not too bad holding against Japan as China if you do it well. You just place your units well. You can even use the engineer units if you want to build backline defenses so you can retreat to if you want, but building frontline defenses isn't really feasible because they'll be under fire basically. So you can build a back defensive line right here in these mountain provinces, and you have a fallback line worst case, but you really should be able to hold some of these cities. Changsha is a good one. I think you should be able to hold. Qingqiao is maybe a bit more difficult, but it's all feasible. I want to quickly take a look at the British here. Yeah. So they don't have too much. One thing with the British is this is a Norway to Germany convoy route, so you could send some ships to convoy raid. You also want to keep a bunch of destroyers that block these that stop the German U-boats from basically intercepting your convoys and lowering your production, your MPPs that you have available. Actually, I did want to take a look at diplomacy. Let's see, Canada. So Canada's not at war for some reason. Not sure why. Did they declare war next turn? I think if I do this, I declare war on them. Pretty sure. So we're not going to be doing that. Canada will get in the war eventually. Pretty sure they declared they won, but anyways, let's focus on strategizing a Polish defense plan. These are mechanized. These are not doing too hot here. Major thing is Warsaw. We want to get our best troops that we have into Warsaw, which would probably be the Lodz army down here. This, I don't think this army's making it home. Nor is I don't think the Pomor's army here in Poland. I mean, the Modlin army might make it, but they have. See, these guys have good entrenchments. You might want to keep them. These cavalry are useless. I mean, they're not going to do anything but delay and die. These guys have an entrenchment value of 2. If they move, they're going to lose that, but it might still be worth it. Well, they can hold an attack from there. This army's useless here. Or this corps. Probably want to move a corps somewhere behind a river here if they flank, or here to block here, but then the Panzer Division will be able to basically just hit this corps from the side, and it's 5 strength, it'll have no entrenchment. It would probably die immediately, but we might try it. These guys won't be able to retreat, but I think we're going to send this cavalry all the way back here. Maybe it'll hold a flank, it'll protect a city. These guys have an entrenchment value, but they're really not doing anything. We can operate them all the way back, and maybe we can use them to hold, because they're not going to be doing anything down here. At least here they can take a hit or something. I'm not going to be able to do anything now that they've done that, but these troops as well. These troops will probably reinforce just to hold the line. These guys, I think we just reinforce. We have 25 available, so it's really just what we want to reinforce. We're going to pull these guys out. We're going to get these guys into Warsaw. They're our best hope of defending Warsaw. I mean, these guys will get intercepted by German fighters somewhere. But, like, what other purpose do they have? Might as well try. The fighters will probably die because they'll go on a escort mission here. I mean, we can take them off escort. But might as well. Maybe we'll take out a German plane. I mean, these guys are going to be dead anyways. Might as well maybe take out one German plane. That'll help on the Western Eastern Front later. But yeah, German interceptors, our escorts will pop up. Nope, our escorts didn't fly, probably because they're super low. But regardless, these guys are pretty useless. You can pull these guys home. Because again, they're not serving any purpose up here. You just basically center around. We can hit one of their HQs. Hit this one so we're not attacking over a river. Maybe we get better odds. Who cares? And these guys will pull back. Oh. And these guys will use the 25 production points that we do have to just heal up a little. I mean, that's the Polish turn. I mean, we have these guys again that can do not much. We'll just pull them back and maybe we'll use them to reinforce later, but it's all about just pulling back, structuring around Warsaw, and just hoping that we can delay them for as long as possible. But that's that turn. We're going to focus on the two fronts first. So now we'll focus on China. China should be a lot better. I think at first we're not going to focus on purchasing. Oh, we're not going to be focusing on purchasing too many things. We only really want cores and armies. Armies first prio, maybe some fighters actually. But it's all about reading the front. They're very strong here. This army is quite useless there. And will need to pull back or it will die. Pull it back, it'll gain readiness, morale, and yeah, I think we just do that. Then we check this guy. Are they on auto? Okay, so they're on these guys. They're controlling these troops to give them benefits. Actually, let's turn them on auto assist. Same with this guy. We're just going to do manual. Don't need these. We want to attach these who are in the front line to give them some benefits. That guy will be controlled by him. So the Chen HQ will hold this center line. And I think we just pulled to this river. I mean, Qingqiao is important. We don't have any defense. This core is going to be a weak link. But if the Japanese decide to push through this little pass, we'll be able to hit them in pretty open land without having to cross a river. There's a mountain there, but it's easily cut off. I don't think we're too worried about that. So I think these guys right away reinforce. We prioritize reinforce, then we'll build some troops just to stabilize the front. I think this is overall a... Once we set that down, let's go auto assist back. You're there. Don't need you, we'll get you. I think the fighters under the HQ is beneficial too. Fighters will also heal up. These guys are in a good position here. There's not too much important land, and in fact supply is probably kind of weak up here if we look at the supply lens. Where is it? I already forget. I think if we just stay here, we'll be good and in supply, but supply in China is pretty good. Not too worried. Pull these troops to... Probably pull them to here. And they'll stay on the road. And they'll probably go one of either way here to defend. Keep these troops in reserve to basically fill lines that we see as needed. I think we're going to do a retreat here, though. I don't think they serve much of a purpose holding empty land on a hill here when they could be behind a river. And the HQ can move back to better well, it's good supply there, provide supply, but we can even pull the HQ back to here and hold this line if we need. I don't care about the communists. Like the idea of holding this river here. Yeah, we'll just do a little reshuffle. For now, they can hold that actually. We'll just reinforce them. They moved. Fine with China's position. These guys can start building defenses. I mean, I don't plan on being pushed back to here. If anything, I'd rather move them up, build defenses here even, or in the middle section. I think probably here's a good one. And then we change the angle, so we want that hex would be good, these two. So we'll get those guys digging, and if these guys happen to push through, then we'll mount a counterattack or something, but these guys can actually keep them there to threaten any Japanese advance through that pocket. But other than that, it should be fine. I don't think there's anything really that needs to be done here for the Russians. I mean, we can reinforce just because, but Russians will figure out later, closer to war start. I mean, these tanks don't serve a big purpose on the front here. Same with like special forces units. These guys have a better use probably on the Eastern Front. But again, it's not something we have to worry about this early. I mean, America's got nothing. It's nothing really to focus on for the Americans. I mean, we can spend on research. We only have 50 available. Actually, that's something we should do, but yeah, we don't have any money basically at the start. The British do, though. British can do some stuff, and then, well, let's focus on the French actually, because the French are on the front line right now. Not in a great position, the French. The plan is just a delay. The Italians might come in too. I think we just hold these two. French fleet. So we'll use the French fleet. What I like to do is I basically go along these convoy routes with a destroyer or something, just to reveal where these German subs are. They like to attack and hang out over here, I find, sometimes here, but here mostly. But we'll use the French fleet to basically help out. And we'll merge it basically up here. We'll just bring it up here for now. Just to hang out with the British for the eventual fall of France, but this French fleet, we can keep like a battleship here and it could do an offshore bombardment. We're not at war with Italy off the start. It's not much to worry about. What are these? Just a useless French garrison. French garrison. French fleet here. There's no French fleet at Dakar. Interesting, okay. 90 MPPs. If we click purchase, we can go to production and we can see what the French are going to be getting. If we make it to these time periods, May 40 we should make it to. Get some heavy armor, get an HQ in April. Really what we need is infantry. I think there's also an event that pops up about Spanish volunteers or something that gives us a half-strength engineer unit if we want. It's debatable if it's useful. You don't really have time to make defenses. You can use, I think it's like 50 MPPs on healing your units, which I find is more important. But for now, we're just going to actually reinforce just to start off. We could do this. 2-1 will deal more damage than we'll take. This one will reinforce for sure. Not worried about the Italian troops right away. German troops have prio. Don't know why it's not auto assist. But you know what? We might hit them. Just to hurt them a bit. Wow. Crazy dice roll there. Somehow we took more. There we go. Got a good dice roll. Well, the expected dice roll, so better than the Mets Ford here. We're just gonna pull up to this line like this, because the British Expeditionary Force will land and they'll basically take the Flanders area here and hopefully hold something. Again, they will be destroyed, but move this to Chalon just to cover that front. These guys serve no purpose now. You can maybe do some strategic bombing, but it's more reactionary to see what the Germans do and how we want to fill in the line. We don't have any MPPs left, really. But now it's the British turn. Now the British have, their ships can be upgraded. But it's anti-air and naval weaponry. Both not entirely useful. The German fleet is not really something we want to be scared of. I mean, it's really not. I think we basically put this guy on hunt, yep. And maybe we do a little exploring, which basically involves going down here. There probably will be a German fleet in there, but we're just going to park here to provide any vision of passage here. Set convoy mode to Raider. Now the worry of this is U-boats come, they can hit these battleships from the side, which is something I'm slightly worried about. But till that happens, we're not worried. Now we do want to go here. Number 1 tech is just anti-submarine warfare, which we can't get because we only have 125. I think 125 is good to spend on industrial right off the start. Probably want to look at getting industrial. We don't need to be reinforcing or upgrading any units off the start. But yeah, we don't really care. I mean, these cruisers and stuff can operate to these ports to be defended. These guys can go there. Carrier will keep in port somewhere so it's safe. It's all rainy here, which is not nice. Planes can't operate, but we want to keep basically the bulk of our main battle fleet here to stop the German battle fleet that they do have. And we'll keep some destroyers as escorts. But we also want to keep some destroyers here to basically just keep scaring away the German subs until we get better anti-sub warfare tech. But these guys go right there to just protect that carrier from ensuing German U-boat. We'll keep these guys in port here, or heavy cruiser we can also take out. This destroyer there. Oh yes, we had this ship down here. Let's operate him back all the way home. Serves no purpose in the Falklands. I think there's a convoy line that runs through here, yeah. But that's him. There's Kiwi troops here. I'm assuming the Australians and Canadians join eventually. I don't think India's in yet. Research, nothing really. Are they producing anything? Some troops. But basically we'll kind of just sit here with them. It's turn 1. There's not much to do for them. We have the med fleet here. I think we just keep it stationary. Italy's not in the war. It just says HQ. Doesn't say whose HQ it is. That's very strange. Interesting. Doesn't it usually say the HQ? Yeah, Gamlin HQ. Von Buck, Von Klucher. So I have no idea, but hunt, and we will probably station it here, so the Italians get involved, we'll sink some convoys. Actually, I don't know the Italian shipping routes, though. We get a decision later to basically change the path of the British shipping routes, so right now it's like, oh, it's going through the Med, but then they get sunk by the Italians, so you have a chance to, I think, slightly lower the MPPs, but to a much safer route around Africa, which is probably what we'll do, because you end up just losing them if you're here. Poland, China secure. Not much production to do with anyone else. I think this is a good stopping point for the first video, and we'll continue the second one by hitting next turn.